as they participate in the 16th Youth Parliamentary Conference. The youth parliamentarians will caucus and debate on a motion based on the conference theme of resilience in the face of global challenges. The Youth Parliament will mirror the Turks and Caicos Islands Parliament, and our delegates will take sides in a debate on whether our youth should use their collective voices to engage with leaders from throughout our respective parliaments to provide them with real and tangible opportunities to build regional resilience and to advance solutions to theirs as well as the region's problems. I have witnessed several of these debates firsthand, and I could say that we have a talented group of youth parliamentarians in the TCI and throughout the region. These individuals are the future leaders of our countries, and their passion for debating the issues will prepare them for their future roles as parliamentarians. On Thursday, the conference will conclude with the CAA region's annual general meeting. This is where the business of the region takes place and important decisions are made. Decisions such as who will host the next conference and who will be our next regional secretary. I want to go on record here of, because he said that this will be his last year, of thanking Pedro Scotland, who has been our regional secretary for the past 5 years, and for all the hard work that he and Suzanne have done for us over that period of time. However, the most important decisions would center around issues that are up for discussion and the resolution at the Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference that will be held later this year in Accra, Ghana. Decisions made at this conference will affect the CAA region, and therefore it is vitally important we discuss and decide as a group on how we approach these issues. We are small island states in the Caribbean, but together we have a voice that can resonate throughout the Commonwealth and impact decisions made on a global scale. Over the course of the conference, engagement and discussion on potential solutions will be a major focus. However, we will also share the rich culture and heritage of the Turks and Caicos Islands with you. We gave you a little sample of that today with our dance and our police band. It is our hope that you will enjoy our melting pot of cultures as persons are represented here from throughout the region and the world. We will introduce you to our music that is unique to TCI and encourage you to sample our delicious food that is a combination of flavors from the various nationalities that call TCI home. We are a small country, but our cuisine choices are vast and varied. We also invite you to enjoy the white powdered sands and turquoise waters of our beaches that are just steps away from the doors of your resorts. I encourage you that while you are here to take a moment to savor the beautiful by nature gift that is the Turks and Caicos Islands. The 44th CAA TCI conference team and I are excited to share our home with you this week. We thank you for your overwhelming participation in this year's 45th Regional Conference in the Turks and Caicos Islands, and we anticipate that you will find it an engaging and worthwhile experience as we build a resilient and sustainable region together. On behalf of the Turks and Caicos Islands branch of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, I hereby declare the 45th Annual Conference of the Caribbean, Americas, and Atlantic region open. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I now call upon Honorable Akira Mizik to bring the vote of thanks, who will be immediately followed by the Royal Turks and Caicos Islands Police Force.
Saying thank you sometimes gets us in trouble if we miss the persons who have assisted in getting us where we are today and have an opportunity for us to convene together. And as Madam Clerk to the Turks and Caicos Islands House of Assembly has requested of me, delegates, be ready There will be a roll call when the band strikes up, and so we will be calling your countries. We are asking you to stand and clap and celebrate the fact that we are here at the 45th Annual Conference of the Caribbean, Americas, and Atlantic region. So allow me to go quickly through our thanks, not rushing it because your work here today and getting us here, as well as expressing your warm thoughts and prayers for this conference, is not noteworthy. It's just that the clerk has told me the agenda is very packed and we have to wrangle everyone together for a photo, and we know herding politicians is probably worse than herding cats. So let us start by saying thank you to our call to order and our moderator today, Ms. Lauren A. Hall. We have to say a special thanks to the Reverend Father Lyndon Douglas for opening up our session in a word of prayer. And he is my priest at St. Monica's Anglican Church. So if anyone has some spare time tomorrow, on Wednesday at 12:30, we will have a midweek mass. You are welcome to join us. I guess they're almost as great as we are, indeed. We want to say thank you to Her Excellency, our Governor, for her greetings. We want to say thank you to Honorable Ian Little Granger for his greetings, our chairperson of the CPA. We want to say thank you to the Premier for his greetings, and to the Leader of the Opposition, who reminded us that the roots are our foundation, but the fruit is our destiny. So let us not forget our roots, but let us remember we influence the fruit that come from our roots. We also want to say thank you to our Cadet Corps, our Turks and Caicos Islands Cadet Corps and flag bearers. Sometimes we forget the people moving around, shuffling us and telling us where to go and where to sit, and make sure that our stay and our conference operates as smoothly as it can. And so we want to thank the Protocol Corps, as well as being led by Ms. Tracy Parker, our 45th Caribbean Americas Atlantic Region Conference Committee based here in the Turks and Caicos Islands. We want to say thank you to our Regional Secretary, Pedro Eastman, who, along with all the emails I've been copied in, has probably had a great deal of stress from Mrs. Parker, but nonetheless, we got it together in the end. We want to thank our regional representatives who are here to ensure that at the AGM, our voice, our collective decisions that are made will be communicated effectively and efficiently at the CPC 65th in Ghana later this year. And so that is our Speaker, Honorable Gordon James Burton, our Speaker of the House of Assembly St. Lucia, Honorable Claudius J. Francis, our Speaker of Representatives of Belize, and our Chairperson of the Commonwealth Women's Parliamentary Association, Honorable Valerie Woods. We thank you. We also, please give it up for them. We also want to thank our Royal Turks and Caicos Islands Police Force Band. Aren't they simply amazing? I was in the back there with Mrs. Parker, and that little jig-a-jig-jig you started, I was already a little warm, but I had to do a quick two-step, because when the music plays, it licks you like Bob Marley says, and so you feel good. And we hope that this morning's opening ceremony has just been a small taste of what to expect during the course of the next few days. Our hospitality, our people, our culture, our heritage. But what I want to remind us of is, and I'm not one to quote scripture in a public forum, not that I have an issue with it, but as delegates, as the people whom are appointed and or elected to serve the people of our countries, we know the challenges are great, whether it's food insecurity, whether it's climate change, whether it's violence and crime, whether it's the voice, creating a proper avenue for the young voices in our country to come forward and be respected and be heard and shape policy decisions that we have the awesome opportunity to do. Galatians chapter 6 verse 9 is my holding firm scripture, because some mornings I wake up and I'm like, why am I doing this? Is it worth it? It says, so let us not grow weary in doing what is right, for we will reap a harvest time if we do not give up. So then, whenever we have an opportunity, let us work for the good of all. Not some, all. And especially for those of the family of faith. And so it is in that regard, once again, I thank Your Excellency for joining us. I thank the Premier, His Honor the Speaker, Lady Chief Justice, Deputy Governor, members of Cabinet, members of the House of Assembly, the Attorney General, Leader of the Opposition, dignitaries and delegates from across the region, our observers, our clerks, our youth parliamentarians, our chairman of CPA, as well as our Deputy Secretary General, but last and not least, our spouses, for marrying our crazy people who decide that we should serve at this level. For without your support, we will not be able to do the work that we have to do for our people. So, before we break and have a rendition by the Royal Turks and Caicos Islands Police Force, I have been asked to ask you, as gently and as politely as possible, all delegates to assemble to the stage whilst they are playing. All guests, observers, well-wishers, and networkers, you are invited to exit the chamber and take in the delectable eats and drinks that are there for you, so that the networking can take place outside whilst we herd all of the delegates to the stage for the official photo of the 45th Commonwealth Parliamentary Caribbean, Americas, and Atlantic Region Conference photo. So with that said, it has indeed been an honor and a privilege to share in this morning with you, and once again welcome you to the amazing constituency of Leeward and Long Bay. Good morning, everyone.
Like a lightning storm, they up on the rhythm and a ring the alarm. So them coulda never try take the king for your man. Touch the stage anytime me perform then. Best believe everything me go on then. Tell Babylon keep cool and keep calm before them end up run up in a lightning storm. Forward a fi run when the general.
I me say PBCJ we cool and we calm. Step up in a yaso like a lightning storm. They up on the rhythm and a ring the alarm. Say them coulda never try take the king fin up on. Inna the studio, we a perform. Best believe everything we govern. Say go tell Babylon, keep cool and keep calm before them go run up in a lightning storm. 5 stars say that, Rastafari.
Touch the stage anytime me perform then. Best believe everything me govern then. Tell Babylon keep cool.
The sunrise over the mountain top. 96 degrees when it's hot in a Jamaica. Jamaica. I've been away for a long time, far from the sunshine, foreign nice, but only in the summertime. I miss the beaches and the rivers and the fun, music playing loud and the people showing love. It no matter if me living up abroad, where things is not so bad, no we're no better than the yard. So why not listen to the bad views and the talk? Things is not so bad as the plane touch the tar. Home, feels like home. Feels like home. When I'm in Jamaica. When I'm in Jamaica. It feels like home. Feels like home. Let me tell you about home. Feels like home. When I'm in Jamaica. When I'm in Jamaica. It feels like home. Feels like home. No country without problems. Everywhere you have them. It's up to us to solve them. I'm an go condemn. Though we crime rate a spiral, we fighting for survival. Still not leave the island. Won't stay away too long. And it no matter if me live in the snow. Want you to know that I have a place to go. Where the vibes like a river just a flow. And the cool breeze a blow. And the cheese them just a grow. That's my home. Feels like home. Feels like home. When I'm in Jamaica. When I'm in Jamaica. It feels like home. Feels like home. Let me tell you about home. Feels like home. When I'm in Jamaica. When I'm in Jamaica. It feels like home. Feels like home. Sunrise over the mountain top. 96 degrees when it's hot in a Jamaica. Jamaica. Sunrise over the mountain top. 96 degrees when it's hot in a Jamaica. Jamaica. I've been away for a long time, far from the sunshine, foreign nice, only in the summertime. I miss the beaches and the rivers and the fun, music playing loud and the people showing love. And it no matter if me living up abroad, where things is not so bad, no we're no better than the yard. And I now listen to the bad views and the talk. Things is not so bad as the plane touch the tar. Home, feels like home. Feels like home. Manchester, Jamaica. When I'm in Jamaica. Feels like home. Feels like home. Let me tell you about home. Feels like home. When I'm in Jamaica. When I'm in Jamaica. It feels like home. Feels like home. That's my home. Tell you about home. Feels like home. When I'm in Jamaica. When I'm in Jamaica. It feels like home. It feels like home. Sunrise over the mountain top. 96 degrees when it's hot in a Jamaica. Jamaica. Feels like home. Feels like home. Feels like home. When I'm in Jamaica.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Come let me take you to a land of paradise now. There's this little island that I know, where so many people just love to go. Some say it's the food, I don't really know, or if it's the good vibe the people show. Could it be the pretty sunshine out a door? Maybe it's the beautiful rivers that flow. I don't really know, I don't really know, cause this little island has so much to show. Well, it come up with Alawa. This is Jamaica. Best food and rich culture. This is Jamaica. Enough food and enough water. This is Jamaica. And some pretty little data. Well, it come up with Alawa. This is Jamaica. Best food and rich culture. This is Jamaica. Enough food and enough water. This is Jamaica. And some pretty little data. Icons after icons, we're raising, and we not back down, we love competing. So sunshine we have, but we love it freezing. I just so we stay, yeah, we in everything. Now ask no question, they must get a beating. It's not a drug, or just the food that we eating. We have a pretty little veggie green leafing. Come catch we vibe when we just done steam. We liquor and we tell our this is Jamaica. Best food and rich culture. This is Jamaica. No food and enough water. This is Jamaica. And some pretty little data. We liquor and we tell our this is Jamaica. Best food and rich culture. This is Jamaica. No food and enough water. This is Jamaica. And some pretty little data. We liquor away. People just love to go. Some say it's the food, I don't really know. Or if it's the good vibe the people show. Could it be the pretty sunshine out a door? Maybe it's the beautiful rivers that flow. I don't really know, I don't really know. Cause this little island have so much to show. So we'll look about with Talawa. This is Jamaica. Best food and rich culture. This is Jamaica. No food and enough water. This is Jamaica. Get your pretty little data. We'll look away. Best food and rich, no food and love, and some pretty liquor. Boy, we look up but we Talawa, and miss a big up Jamaica. I'm from your nose, say you banya, you know you wanna anya, we say fi big up Jamaica, big up the culture, we have enough water, we have enough data, we say fi big up Jamaica, big up the culture, we lick up and we Talawa.
Once you replace negative thoughts with positive ones, you'll start having positive results. Educate yourself.
Dancing is the great popular art of the black peoples, and the rhythms of Africa have long ago crossed the seas and become part of the history of music in the modern world. This is a Mandinka dance of West Africa, in which the spirit of the forest comes to condemn wrong behavior. At first sight, it may seem wild and primitive, but the dance is more complex than it looks. To the Mandinka, it has a religious meaning and a moral purpose. There are references to ritual, to myths and stories about the past. In a country where little was written down and stories are still often told in the form of myth and music, the dance itself is a living embodiment of Mandinka history. Many Africans today live in modern cities where the dominant influence seems to be European, not African. The old history and traditions are half forgotten beneath the cars and the concrete. Africa once had its own cities, its own civilizations, and now there's a growing awareness of the dignity and splendor of the past. But beyond the cities, in the empty solitudes, there seems at first to be no history to remember. Scientists are now agreed that human life first took shape in Africa, long before it evolved anywhere else on Earth. But development in those early days was extremely slow, and until a few thousand years ago, most of this huge continent, like most of the rest of the world, was almost empty of people. Before men learned to farm, the land could support only a few scattered groups of hunters. This is the story of African peoples over the centuries, of how they learned to develop the skills that enabled them to overcome huge difficulties imposed on them by their environment. The pioneering peoples who set out to master their continent long ago had to overcome tremendous obstacles. They had to survive in a climate and ecology of ferocious extremes. They had to fight off an army of killing fevers, pests, tropical diseases, man-eating beasts. And they had to learn how to farm under tropical conditions. Their mastering of their continent has to be seen, I think, as one of the decisive achievements of human history. I've chosen to visit three peoples, each with their own part in the story. These are the Dogon of Mali, whose art and whose dances keep their history alive for them. The people of Sukur in northeastern Nigeria still live in the stone-built villages of their ancestors and still follow a way of life which they've evolved for themselves through the centuries. The Pokot, a people of northern Kenya, have defied efforts to modernize their way of life. They've achieved their own balance with nature and are content with it. But long before these peoples learned how to master their continent, small groups such as the Khoi or Bushmen had made their own contribution. Until recently, they lived by hunting and gathering, just as the earliest human beings are known to have done. Khoi technology has remained essentially Stone Age, even though they now use iron-tipped arrows borrowed from their more advanced neighbors. The Khoi have devised complex arrow poisons made from a mixture of plant extracts and the toxic entrails of a species of beetle larva. Stone Age or not, their skill at tracking game has never been surpassed. The Twa peoples of the forests of Zaire, better known to us as pygmies, also lived a wandering life as hunters. This 50-year-old film records the ingenuity with which these so-called primitive people built a bridge across a river. First, a man was hoisted to treetop height at the end of a long rope of plaited vine. An enterprise like this called for a high degree of cooperation and planning in advance. Yet the Twa had no political organization as we understand it. Their population was small, and their technology had not advanced beyond the Stone Age. Such bridges helped the Twa in their wandering life.